I spent this last break defending Poundcake to the texters, flaming him over the Whitney Houston thing. He likes what he likes, man.
Flaming me for what?
Well, because you said she was the first black female pop star.
She was.
You ever heard of Diana Ross?
She didn't cross over the same way. She did not cross over the same way.
You ever heard of Donna Summer?
Didn't cross over the same way.
She was the queen of disco. What are you talking about?
Well, when you moving those sticks, it seems like.
You've heard of Gladys Knight. You've heard of Donna Summer.
You've
heard of, Whitney Houston was on the R&B charts.
I
was going to bat for you. Don't yell at me.
Well, I'm just saying, there's people.
The important thing to remember is that she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She's a rocker, first and foremost.
Yep.
Not the
She
pop
liked her
music Hall of Fame.
She liked
rock
her
and roll.
Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Known for her love of rock.
I get it.
Poundcake's fine. I just assumed that you meant somebody who, even though Whitney Houston did some R&B stuff, I assumed you meant, because people were like Diana Ross last night, I was like, well, those people came out of Motown and R&B.
They did come out of Motown.
I assumed you were talking about somebody that came out and they were a big pop star.
They were a big pop star because of who she was related to, Cissy Houston or whatever. She was practically groomed for show business. She had a voice. I feel like it was her. She was too talented for her own good because they didn't want her to be a gospel singer. They didn't want her to just sing in the church. They wanted her to sing songs that were more poppy. They used to call her Whitey Houston because she used to
I remember that Whitey Houston.
Used to call her Whitey Houston because they would put makeup on her and make her really, really light-skinned and have bushy blonde hair to relate to a white audience. That's Diana Ross never had to do that. Whitney Houston had way more number ones.
Yeah, but white people loved Diana Ross. I didn't
say they didn't.
That was a choice that somebody made for Whitney Houston. And you can't tell me that they did that without her consent. When you want to be successful, you'll do whatever it takes. And so there were a lot of R&B or black female artists who predated Whitney Houston that weren't doing that, and white audiences were really into those other artists.
But and that's why I didn't understand why Whitney Houston got the flack that she did, because Diana Ross
because of the crack.
Long before the crack, Alan. Long before the crack.
That's what they should have called her.
I was just gonna say that.
They never called Diana Ross a sellout. They were of course she left the Supremes. They wanted her to be.
People called Diana Ross everything,
but she didn't.
She got called every name. She walked so that Whitney Houston could run.
I'm not saying there wasn't people that opened the door for her, but she was the one that had the biggest hits and the most crossover out of anyone.
Mm-hmm.
She was singing in Brunei and all these other countries, and Diana Ross is pretty famous here. I don't know how she is in other countries.
Pardon me? Do you think that Diana Ross is only famous in the United States?
She's really famous here. I don't know how she is in other countries. She may be famous, but I have never seen.
Yes, she's just a little bit globally famous, Diana Ross.
Okay.
Do you know where Brunei is? That sounds like a place you'd want to go.
It's very homophobic, but
that hasn't stopped you from wanting to go to all those other places.
No, I know. I don't know exactly where it is. I know it's in Asia, but was it underneath Indonesia or something?
I think it's right next to Indonesia. Yes,
okay.
I think you're absolutely correct. See, he knows these things.
I was just
geography is his jam.
Yeah. She performed for the Sultan's wedding there.
That's the only time you ever hear about Brunei is when it's preceded by the Sultan of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many countries have sultans, but Brunei, definitely, he gets a lot of play being the Sultan of Brunei. And that guy's probably dead, right? They probably bestowed the title on the next of kin. But back in the day, you always heard about the Sultan of Brunei. And now the guy you got to worry about is when somebody finds out they're doing a concert for MBS. The old school, he's the new analog for the Sultan of Brunei. Hey, Dick.
Hey! Well, one thing we got to say. Steven Stefanski and the Browns.
Okay, give it to me again. Who's the coach of the Browns?
Kevin Stefanski did well, I thought, with what he had. They missed Chubb. They were down to 4 quarterbacks. They beat San Francisco. They beat the Bengals.
Well, the
They
Flacco
had a
magic just
good
ran
year.
out, right, Dick?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's just I hated to see it too because they just looked they looked like they were sunk on Lake Erie somewhere.
You know, you
But
call
it
him.
was
It's interesting to me, Dick. You call him Kevin Stefanski, and everybody else calls him Kevin Stefanski. I wonder where the disconnect. I don't
Yeah.
know who's right.
At first, it sounded like you said Devin.
At first, you called him Devin Skansvansky or something.
He mixed the S and the F. I thought he called him Steven Faskansky.
Faskansky, right?
Skansky.
Who I think is one of the kids from
Yeah.
Christmas Story.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
in this series now, I just like to see the Lions win it because
Well, my wife was
it's
cheering
famous
last
up-
night because she's a Lions fan.
Yeah,
Lions and Michigan winning. Woo.
Big
That'd be
year.
yeah,
Picasso Cox.
yeah. Well, that was. I didn't understand about Ohio State. Stroud was good, and he just, I don't know, he just seemed to have the Browns' number. But
Well, it's
what
kind of the
they
most,
gotta
but
do
Dick, isn't it kind of the most stereotypical Browns thing ever? They get stomped by Deshaun Watson's old team with a quarterback from Ohio State.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. But what I was going to say, let's see, what I was going to say. Oh, who made?
You don't keep notes? You don't
keep.
keep detailed, copious notes?
No.
Oh.
Who made Hard for the
No.
Money? Donna Summer.
She Works Hard for the Money was Donna Summer. That's correct.
I love that song. I've been listening to that song, but boy, it was a week. No practice for a couple days. It's the wind chill down here in Cincinnati, Dayton area. Springfield is about 22 below. Is it pretty bad up in Cleveland?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
of course. I mean, the weather's not going to be that different between where you are and where we are.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
But
Do you
boy,
guys ever
know,
do you guys ever perform She Works Hard for the Money on banjo?
No,
Oh.
but I'm telling you, I heard we did this. Somebody came and we had practice for last week. I've never heard it so good. You remember Stagger Lee?
I sure do.
Oh, this guy played it on. He was singing it, and I helped him do the words to it, but I don't have the words to it now. But it was good. But better things going to happen this year, guys. I'll work for the Cavaliers and the Guardians. So I thought I'd check in.
Thank you,
That's
Dick.
life. You're welcome. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Everybody have Dick tonight.
Kevin Faskansky.
Different every time he
Kevin
said it.
Faskansky. Yeah. Well, I think that probably his mental faculties are slowly winding down. It's kind of hard to tell with him, but I think that that's probably, listen, time only moves in one direction, as it currently stands.
Yeah, up your butt.
Up your butt. That is the kind of intense hilarity that you can expect from the new Bill Squire stand-up special.
No, that's not.
That's not it?
That's
Up
not
your
it.
Oh,
butt.
come on.
If it's up your butt, you know where it is.
Mary, have you seen a clip of this?
I have.
What do you think? I
It
got a
looks
clip.
Great.
Yeah?
Looks and sounds amazing.
For people watching the live stream, I mean, you'll be able to hear it. Obviously, you're not watching the live stream, but it looks good. Are you happy with how this looks?
I am thrilled.
Want me to
It
play this
looks
clip?
incredible. Yeah, do it. This is from
You
my
mentioned
new
that
special.
you mentioned that you had the immediate aftermath of shooting the special, the Agora. You mentioned that you had a lot of makeup on, but they did a good job because you don't look like you have makeup on.
Well, I could feel it. I'm not used to wearing makeup, so it's not. Yeah, I didn't want it to be
Sure.
noticeable.
Well, but sometimes depending on who you get, it is noticeable.
Yeah.
So they did a good job.
Well, my girl Jess did a great job.
I was all pumped for puberty, but I was a late bloomer. I didn't get any puberty when I was 11. When I was 12, still nothing. 13, nada. And then 14, things started happening. I got a few hairs under my arms. I got one hair on my balls that I protected with my life. I was like, I can't have my balls going back to looking like Caillou. I need at least a Charlie Brown. And then it happened. I stopped wetting the bed. I went like 2 weeks without wetting the bed, and it's the first time in my life that I felt confidence. And this happens to a lot of people in their teenage years. They kind of figure out what they're doing, where they're going with life. Like I had a cousin, when he was a year older than me, 15 years old, he won a state championship in wrestling, and that made him feel confident. LeBron James, when he was 16 years old, was on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine. And when I was 14 years old, I was like, I don't gotta wear diapers anymore. Right? Different accomplishments, same exact feeling.
Did you expect diapers to get that kind of hit?
Yeah, I mean, I had run it a bunch of times.
No, I know, but I mean, you might get
and
a
it's,
nice.
it's like
Sometimes you might get a nice titter at the Agora. Gonna get a nice roll there.
yeah, that's part of like a larger chunk of material, and that's kind of where what it all leads up to. But then there's a little bit more. It's great. I'm so happy with how it turned out. It looks awesome, and now we're sending it out to different agencies to try and see if anybody's gonna bite and buy it, or if we'll do a release on YouTube or Amazon or something like that. We'll see.
Do you chase all that down yourself?
I'm working with a couple people on that. Just sending it out to the people, the contacts that we know.
The connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calling in favors. Hey, help out here. And it's tough. That's the hardest part. Trying to get some, streaming service to buy it is incredibly difficult to do, especially.
Well, fortunately, there's so many of them now.
Right, but they're also real wary about buying anything right now because they've spent so much money. So even though that wouldn't cost nearly what it would cost to buy an expensive, like a Pete Davidson special, they're still like, we don't see the value in it or whatever. So
what would you like to get for it? Streamer comes to you and says, we'd like to buy this. Obviously, they would lowball
I mean,
you.
I'd go 10 mil. I'd be all right with that.
I was asking a serious question.
I'm giving you serious. I think it's worth $10 million.
All right, sir.
But no, I have no idea because I don't know if they come to me and they say what offer.
Well, no, if
Okay,
they come to you and they say we'll give you $5,000.
No,
That's too low.
that's too low.
I think that based on what I've heard from other people, I think that a half hour on Netflix, I want to say, again, I could be wrong or conflating numbers. I think when you get a half hour on Netflix, it's $100,000.
And that's like the comedians.
That's like the comics get paid
Yeah.
that, and then whatever you have to pay out to your agents and everything like that. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I think that. And I want to say there was a
I
comic.
would take that. I'd say yeah.
There was a
Let's do
comic who
that.
said that they did an hour special on Netflix and got $250,000. But it all depends. I mean, but I think that if you're going to be selling it to like a major streamer like that,
Yeah.
you need to have six figures, right?
What if you sell it to a minor streamer?
What would that be?
25?
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Or you mean like an example of a minor streamer, like a Tubi?
Yeah, to Pluto, Crackle. Somebody comes to you and goes, hey, listen, we're trying to dip our toe into, we're bringing back Quibi. We're going to try to dip our toe into stand-up comedy. It's working for Prime. It's working for HBO. It's working for Netflix. And they go, we'd like to give you, well, you said $5,000 is too little.
That's too little.
Because you need to recoup your costs?
And and I could put it out on YouTube and Amazon. And
You could make more than that
yeah.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then Well, then that makes sense. I thought we were just like firing wildly into the air. And so if somebody comes to you and says, okay, so 5,000 too little. Somebody comes to you and goes, we'll give you $7,000.
I would probably want to be in the 20 to 30 range.
20 to 30 range.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, fingers crossed, man. What is that process already begun?
Yeah, we're shopping it around. He sent it to me today. So I'm working with Rhizome Comedy, and we're shopping it out to a few different.
So they do all that
But,
legwork. They
yeah,
go, hey, we got this guy here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if nobody pays what we want, then we'll find other ways to release it. And,
Gotcha.
and the people that I've talked with that have specials on YouTube and Netflix, they said, yeah, it's great to get it on Netflix, but it was the YouTube special that made it so that they could get it on Netflix and that got that audience. I mean, the one that I put on Pure BS has got over 100,000 views. So it's all about getting people not just to watch it, but then to want to come and see you live. And that's the real trick.
Right.
Is and Mary knows this. She's got millions and millions of views, but until you can turn those views into
Asses in
seats, it's
doesn't mean anything.
doesn't mean a lot.
Well, in Netflix, there's so much stuff up there that it's just shoveling coal into the furnace, too. I mean, I just don't have any sense of anything along those lines simply because there are people I've never heard of that now have a thing on Netflix or now have a thing on Prime. But clearly other people have heard of them.
Well, it's
to the
everything's
extent that
so
these streamers,
fragmented too now, because you can be someone that's selling out theaters and even doing huge tours, and if you don't mess with that person, then you don't know anything about them.
Right.
I mean, how many people just found out about Matt Rife when his Netflix special came out, and he's selling out giant tours? So it's they don't even really know how, like, who to really go after.
The Matt Rife thing kind of blew over, yeah?
Yeah. It seems
No.
What do you mean blew over? Blew over
He's
as
still
Well-
selling out every single
no, he means like the
show.
backlash.
But there wasn't really
oh.
backlash. It was a way to get people talking, but it's
Yeah.
not like they were pulling sponsorships or something.
Well, no,
There
but
wasn't
there's a
backlash.
lot of there was. I mean, when that because it was kind of an emperor has no clothes moment. There were people that were like, "Oh, this guy's not funny for an hour. This guy's funny on TikTok."
But then there's a lot of people that still love the special.
No, I understand.
So.
I'm just, but I think, but
Well,
there
that's
was.
what it is, like, because it's becoming more and more prevalent that comedy is up to, like, your taste in comedy is up to you. And if there's a lot of people that think you're funny, they're going to show up and support you. And if they don't, then they're not.
And you can make a good living doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. You don't
have to be a. You don't have to be
household
a.
name.
You have to be a global sensation to make a good living. That's good. That's how Mary's affording the paint that's going to go over that tiger.
Oh,
You don't gotta pay for
yeah. This, so get this. The guy, her husband, his name's Dino. He's, one of the
Hey,
owners of the
Dino
building.
Stamanlapalopoulos.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey,
But they,
she's
they
in the
gave
Malakas,
us-
Dino.
They gave us a paint book, and they were like, pick out the colors that you want in here. Like, you can paint your bedroom whatever color you want. You can paint the living room whatever color you want. We'll do it. But they gave us like a paint book, which I thought was very nice. But then he had to cut the meeting short because he had to go to a DJ gig.
Yeah.
So this guy's like a carpenter, fixer-upper / DJ.
You gotta have multiple hustles
You
out there.
got it.
Yeah.
Yes, you got to cobble together a living.
But he's like probably in his 50s. I mean, I would say probably late 40s, early 50s. He's got to be 6'5", huge, like jacked. Like this guy is an imposing figure. And
You
he
gotta
does all
look
this
good.
construction and all this stuff, and then he's like, "I got a brunch DJ spot. Can we
Brunch.
hurry this up?" I was like, "This is crazy."
That's just like Shaq was a DJ. I was like, damn, Shaq, he's a sheriff and a DJ. His DJ name was DJ Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw him at the which MLB, the All-Star game when it was here. He was DJing at Forward
Oh,
a couple
yeah,
years
he
ago,
was,
2019, I think.
That guy, David Solomon, he was the CEO of Goldman Sachs, and he was a DJ.
It's crazy.
He would, like, do parties and stuff.
Yeah, that's just
It's the goal.
mainly for like
It's-
rich
you,
people.
You get
like
rich enough to retire, or you live long enough to become a DJ.
David Solomon. This dude is 62. This is the guy you're talking about? The CEO
David
of Goldman
Solomon,
Sachs?
yeah, I think he just quit like a year ago. So people were like, yeah, this isn't a great look. But he
Oh,
was doing
yeah.
it for a while. He was a legit guy.
Yeah, why Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon takes Subway, gets his own coffee, and DJs part-time.
Yeah.
Dude.
And he's there with like his baseball cap on.
He's
and
got a
t-shirt
T-shirt on, and yeah.
Just doing it.
So what are you going to go for, like a moon mist or a forest wood, or what
Well,
color?
we were talking about that for like the main room, like because the kitchen and the living area is all one space, so all of that's going to be one color, and the hallways, like an off-white, probably just something generic, like a regular looking, not like hospital white, but also not gray. You know, something soft in
Eggshell.
the middle.
Get that eggshell.
Eggshell.
Everybody loves eggshell.
Sherwin-Williams has a color called creamy. Order that.
You like those
Well, he
pies.
said he doesn't go to Home Cheapo. That he has a guy that he gets his paints
I
from.
got a guy.
I don't go to Home
And that guy goes to Home Depot for him.
Yeah, right, maybe.
I don't go to Home Cheapo or Blows. I got a guy who works for Sherwin-Williams. Gets me to Pantone. Greek Villa. There's an off-white called Greek Villa.
Hey, maybe that'll be it.
Snowbound. Pearly white. Oyster white.
But yeah, he said we can also pick the colors of our bedrooms if we want. And he would
Wow.
give us whatever color we want in our bedroom.
He's going to be in your guy's bedroom.
Have you
Well,
visited?
painting it.
Have you visited the laundromat at all yet?
We stopped in and just asked about prices. It's $10 for your first 7 pounds.
Is that wet?
I think they weigh it when you bring it in.
Bone
'cause
dry,
They have to
yep.
charge you.
Well, the one texter
The one
said,
guy was like, they
Way
weigh
wet.
wet.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No,
Yeah,
they
And
that seems
then
insane.
I think they said $1 a pound after 7 pounds. That's the closest one.
not
There's
bad.
more than that, but no, I mean, it's not bad at all. Or you can spend your whole day doing it yourself.
Yeah. Anything you can afford someone else to do for you.
Yes.
It's the little luxuries that pile up.
Well, I figured I'm like, if I go drop it off in the morning, it should be ready by the time I get home from the show.
Yeah.
You know? Or even just the next morning. What, I need my clothes dried right away? Am I a prince? What?
You're Sultan of Brunei.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I'm going to break. Want to send me a text, 35192. You can listen wherever you are on the iHeartRadio app.
There are many harsh lessons to be learned from the gambling experience. And when you play with the Buzzard Bookie, you won't learn any of them. There's 9 chances a day every weekday to win $1,000. You can be a complete degenerate and listen all day, get an earful of MMS, and maybe a pocket full of cash. You can't lose with the Buzzard Bookie, only on 100.7 WMMS.